Hi, welcome to TNT late in the afternoon, and we're talking trade, we're talking tariffs. Just a very quick invitation for you to subscribe to the channel. That's the best way that you can support us, bringing you independent news about what's happening here in Thailand, Southeast Asia and Asia generally. Now, we are speaking about trade, what's been happening in the last few weeks after the United States administration decided basically to start a trade war with the rest of the world, believing it's been hard done by with the latest deals. But over the last 70 or 80 years, these trade blocks that have developed, the trade deals that have been put together with different countries, have been put together and signed off by the United States. But they do now want to change things, and a lot of the world and the people who are involved in trade running around with their hair on fire, trying to figure out what to do. Now, anything that does happen will be slow. It won't just happen tomorrow. It won't happen within the 90 days, which is a time set by the current US administration. This will all take months and years. But things are happening slowly, and there are discussions. Now, if I know anything about the way that Asians like to do business, there's a lot of smiling, there's a lot of agreement, but it's a long time from that until you get signatures and actual agreements. Let's see what some of the countries around Southeast Asia are doing. And we'll start off with this one from Antara News in English, antaranews.com. Indonesia, US target completion of tariff talks within 60 days. And this out of Jakarta, saying the Indonesian and US governments have agreed to a 60-day deadline for concluding negotiations regarding the 32% tariffs imposed on Indonesian products imported into the US. And key discussion points, including partnership in investments and trade, critical minerals, reliability, and supply chain resilience, have been agreed upon. This issue of reliability will be very important for a lot of the Asian trading partners. If there are existing trade deals that have been worked out, negotiated and signed, and they've just been ignored and ripped up, what's the use of signing any new trade deal? So I think this issue will come back and haunt the US administration as they sort of plod their way towards trying to establish new trade deals with especially Asian countries. Then again, it's a lot of the Asian countries, especially Southeast Asian countries, that have been lumped with very high proposed tariffs of more than 30 or 40%. Let's see what's happening with Cambodia. And Nation Thailand reporting Cambodia, US stage first tariff negotiations. And representatives of the Cambodian and US governments held their first bilateral meeting to discuss trade and investment relations. The meeting took place one day before the Chinese President Xi Jinping's official state visit to Cambodia, which, that was yesterday. The Chinese, particularly the Chinese Premier, on somewhat of a charm offensive in Southeast Asia, visiting Malaysia, Vietnam and Cambodia in recent days to shore up support as they look to other areas for their future trade, understanding that it's going to take a long time to nut out a new trade deal with the United States, given the very different goals of both countries. That's just going to be a wait and see. As I've said all along, just be careful when you decide to poke the dragon. But let's see what's happening in Thailand. And reported in VietnamPlus.vn, Thailand backs ASEAN's collective approach in tariff negotiations with the United States. And whilst the various Southeast Asian nations will have meetings, pleasant meetings and photo opportunities with US officials, I would say that it is going to be an ASEAN decision at the end of the day, the Southeast Asian trading bloc, that will come up with a trade deal, a new trade deal with the United States. And Thai PM Paetongtarn Shinawatra meeting with the Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim there. And it says that Thailand's ready to support ASEAN's collective approach in negotiating with the US over its reciprocal tariffs on imports from countries in the region. And she made these remarks after talks with the Malaysian PM. Paetongtarn said they discussed how ASEAN can join forces to deal with US tariff hikes, adding that the combined population of member countries, about 670 million, makes the bloc a huge market and a force to be reckoned with. and ASEAN in a much stronger position to hammer out a trade deal with the US on behalf of its 10 members, with both sides holding a decent deck of cards. And in the middle there, the PM shared that the Finance Minister will lead a Thai delegation to Washington for talks on April the 23rd. And we should note that the US President Donald Trump on April the 9th announced a pause on all reciprocal tariffs, including a 36% levy on Thailand, as countries began lining up to seek negotiations. However, a 10% baseline tariff on all goods still applies to almost all US trading partners. So the initial idea of these discussions between countries is to find the pinch points and to find out exactly which parts of the current trade deals are irking the US administration. So these initial discussions are important. Well, let's see what Thailand's taking to the table. We go to Thai PBS World, Thailand to propose 5 measures in tariff negotiations with the US. It says the Thai delegation left Bangkok yesterday. Well, they've got 5 days to relax on Malibu Beach before they head into their talks. And it says the Thai delegation has prepared a set of 5 measures to be proposed to their American counterparts. These include the opening of the Thai market and import tax cuts for US farm products under the framework of the US National Trade Estimate, increased imports of US-made products which cannot be locally produced in Thailand, tighter screening of re-exported products from Thailand, promotion of Thai investments in processing industries in the US, and cooperation between Thailand and US on mutually supportive industries. One example is that Thailand plans to import 1 million tonnes of LNG, worth around US 600 million from the US over a 5-year period, and about 400,000 tonnes of ethylene gas, and that's valued at US 100 million over 4 years. And he acknowledged that the reciprocal tariffs to be imposed on Thai products is a major issue, which Thailand will have to address by itself, adding, though, that consultations with ASEAN member states regarding a collective approach towards the US trade barriers must be pursued in parallel with unilateral approach. So it looks like the Thai delegation are going with a few things in their briefcase, and they'll also be keen to hear what the current US administration has in the way of beefs and problems with the current trade deal. But it will be an ASEAN-led trade deal that will form the future of trade between the ASEAN bloc and the United States in the future. But all these countries, everybody except the US, are looking around and saying, gee, what else can we do? Because the US has proven to be, well, at least slightly erratic over the past few months when it comes to trade. And really, we don't know what's happening on a daily or weekly basis, and the situation could change before the current 90-day clock is wound down, given that the trade deals for the future will take at least the rest of this year to hammer out, probably longer. We'll keep you on top of the story as anything new develops between Thailand, ASEAN and the United States. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.